Okay, hi Anshoo.
Hey.
Nice meeting you. Hey, this is exciting, this ACEI, right?
Yes,
People are talking about it today. I was really happy to see kind of interest and kind of inquisitiveness evolving.
Yes.
So what is this exactly? Can you just define ACEI? What is this exactly? And what really pushed Amdocs to get into this?
Yeah, I think good question, sir. I think what we wanted to do, Sandip, was the fact that, we are a country of 1.2 billion people, over 1 billion subscribers, again, based upon the report that you read. What we wanted to do was that, and by the way, it is a country of 1 billion subscribers, but in addition to that, there are 13 operators. There is, a grab for more and more subscribers that you see in the industry.
There's a race.
That race of who can add more. So one of the things that we wanted to do was, really from the thought leadership point of view, was to go out and say that, hey, what is the, today if I ask you, you say prices are increasing all the time. So what do? You look to the inflation reporting.
Correct.
And say, okay, well, this is what is going on in the industry. So today, if we talk about mobile subscribers or subscribers, is there a place to go to understand what is the state of the customer experience from our, so there's nothing out there. So the primary motivation was exactly that, was that can we come out with, from the thought leadership point of view, can we come out with a common currency that everybody could look at and say that, okay, this is the, and relate to. Yes, exactly. If you're a subscriber, you can make sure that you can relate to the voice that is reflected in that number. Or if you are a service provider, you want to look at it, hey, what is it that I can improve? Who are my subscribers and how do I improve them? If you are a regulator, then you want to understand if this is an additional thing over and above the TRAI report. So we really wanted to
quite objective in nature.
Yes, and that's why we had you as Deloitte to help us ensure that there's objectivity to it. So really, thought leadership and coming up with a standard which the industry can look at to get a view of the customer experience at a given point in time. And again, the earlier points I made, why is customer experience important, is because of the things that I talked about. Over 1 billion subscribers, 13 operators. There is a grab for more subscribers, and in that process, there is possibility that experience sometimes takes a back seat. So those were the motivations for us to come out with what we're calling the Amdocs customer experience.
I was talking to your team. I think you guys went out all over the place across the country to do this.
Yes.
How much time it took to do that?
Well, I think there is a larger timeline and there's a smaller timeline. So let me start with the larger timeline. This whole journey for us started about 3.5 years ago, and we started with an idea which was about the fact that there is the University of Michigan which comes out with something called it comes out with
very exciting,
very exciting, and that was the motivator. Okay. Which comes out with the US Consumer Sentiment Index.
Oh, okay.
And what that measures is what is the sentiment of the consumer at a given point in time. And by the way, sentiment drives consumer spend, which drives the US economy. So we
decision-making
parameters. So they came out with something like that, and they come out with that monthly. So what we wanted to do was to kind of use that as a motivator. And we started that 3.5 years ago. In the larger journey, we went through a process where we came up with a model. We did a pilot with Amdocs employees and also employees of SITM, which is an institute we were partnering with, or students from SITM and employees of the company, and we came out with the survey findings. And guess what? Some of those findings were very interesting, and in fact, with Aegis, we actually won an innovation award for that as well. So not necessarily a plug-in for Aegis, but I did want to highlight that we won an innovation award 2.5-3 years ago about the work that we did. And then we matured that then to come out with the current iteration of the model.
So how many cities?
In terms of cities, we went to 30 cities. 30 cities, 5,000 is plus is the sample size. We want to make sure that we go to Circle A.
So you've spoken to
individuals? Speaking to individuals, we hired somebody. And by the way, you can translate it.
Oh, okay. Local language, regional language.
Regional languages,
like country. Like Dr. Bhatia was mentioning that Assam is language.
Yes, exactly. So Odisha speak Oriya and Bengali obviously. So we wanted to do it so that it can connect better. And we wanted to do it in person, not a phone call.
So it's taken a kind of plus minus 2 years, 3 years time frame?
The survey itself, so I forgot about the time.
Sorry.
So the larger time process took about 3.5 years. The survey took about 2 months. The survey took us 2 months to gather the sample, do the translation. So from end to end, it was a 2-month process. And then it was the analysis of the data. And that took longer. It took a reasonable amount of time for us to analyze the data and then partner with Deloitte to make sure that we are doing the right set of things. So I think the process took about 3-4 months. The whole process of starting the survey, getting the data, analyzing the data, publishing the report, took that much.
In fact, I was talking to Anshoo for quite some time. Very interesting. Like so far, it's always been operators are doing from inside out kind of view. And Amdocs, with Anshoo's leadership, they came up with a thought process to be a thought leaders, where outside in, customer perspective, customer centricity thought points can be really derived and analyzed and slice and dices both geographic and demographic environment. I personally feel that ACEI will have a lot of value to play from today to tomorrow and day after tomorrow onwards, where people may use this, even not only Indian standpoint, maybe the global standpoint. Telecom operators, telecom subscribers, telecom industry as a whole can use these parameters to measure their success or failures in whatsoever. I think
so maybe I could ask you a question on that. How do you see service providers using something like this?
I see it's a big way. You know what? This is the industry yardsticks which we are defining.
Yeah.
Even our team was analyzing it together. I see the operators. Operators has got a very different focus.
Yeah.
Operators, their focus sometimes demographic, sometimes geographic, sometimes combination of that, and so on. So operators they're aware that this is my supply chain gaps are there.
Yeah.
I have a huge bandwidth on particular technology, but a circle B, nobody's using it. How do I improve that uptake there of that particular technology? I then fall back on ACEI parameters and see to it what is the satisfaction level. Maybe if I'm an operator, I'll come to you saying that can you measure on my behalf what is my ACEI index on B class city on this age group, this demographic. Then you do that for the operators, and operator will take that quickly and see to it that what are the tweaking to be done to their people, process and technology to address that.
And you know what, that's very interesting, because even though this was thought leadership from our point of view, we fully recognize that, if you're running an operator, there's so much to do.
Completely.
Right? And sometimes it could be, I'm not saying that it is, it could be that in that so much to do process, the focus on the basics might be taking somewhat of a backseat. So what we wanted to do here was that outside in, like you stated, and also try to align with the operator's strategy, which is what you alluded to, and do a direct relationship that, okay, this is the outside in view, you establish your strategy, and based upon that strategy, it gives you the focus areas. And importantly, not only the focus areas, but the benefit you will derive once you focus on the focus areas and do the process, people, technology things that you talked about.
I think I look at it this way, Anshoo. ACEI index will help operator to objective parameters to understand how satisfied my customers are and what exactly their ask and their need, instead of the way we perceive that what should be or should have been subjective ask and subjective needs. You're getting it? So that's an interesting bridge you're doing it. Today, all operators, because we know that teledensity is getting saturated completely. We are aware that ARPU is diminishing, correct? It is today per, every user's the amount of money they're spending, it is always lower than yesterday, correct? In this environment, I know that telecom operators are struggling to pull out their newer and newer USPs of their products and services, by which they can, in fact, as soon as you pull out something interesting, the rest of the operator community will quickly replicate that. And the differentials of service differentials, value differentials are very, very limited. All you need to do is, all you need to increase your business, both top line and bottom line, is you need a greater customer stickiness. And thereby attract more and more customers, maybe in the format of the churn or something like that. There, that ACEI index can add a huge value. They know what is the real, accurate, objective customer satisfaction index for operator A, operator B, where we stand today. Then they know what kind of corrective measures I need to do. that decision can be, of course, driven by a lot of financial decisions and managerial decisions and so on. But they know exactly I'm supposed to go there, I should take that route to do it, or for the following reason, I'm not in a position to take that route. You got it? Very interesting, right?
I agree.
I think that to summarize, I'll ask you, I know you may help us to know one thing. What is that, so to say, USP of ACEI? If it's few bullet points we can define.
I think you did a better job than maybe me in describing the USP for ACEI. I think the first one, like you talked about, is outside in. Outside in view, oftentimes there's so much going on the inside that you forget about the outside in. And outside in is the key in a hyper-competitive market that we find ourselves in. Outside in. Second, I would say, is the ability to align the outside in view with the strategy being pursued by an operator or a group of operators. And then figuring out the impact of improving the experience in quantifiable numbers. Because oftentimes we get caught up in this view that, okay, well, what is the ROI? And the ROI is actually there because the consumer who's giving us the money, or the operators the money, is actually telling us that if you do improve my experience by 1 point, this is the amount you can expect in terms of recommendations. You can expect in terms of reduction in churn. You can expect in terms of selling additional services. You can expect in terms of reduction in your support costs. So we are tying directly the experience of the end consumer with the direct measures, if you will, that the operator actually wants to be measured on. In fact, the street also measures them on the same parameters. So I think that would be, I can go on in the terms of the list of items, but and the final, maybe since I talked about the list, maybe the final item could be that is the common currency. That it is objective. It is not trying to push a viewpoint. It is not trying to say that, okay, operator A, what is the top 5 operators in the country? We didn't want to do that.
But I like that phrase called common currency.
Yes, it's Dr. Bhatia on our team. We came up with a good term.
Common currency is a very exciting term, and we can all relate together.
Yes, exactly. Inflation is a common currency. You and I are, we might be in Bihar or we might be in Gujarat. Inflation is inflation. So that's really what we wanted to.
Excellent. Very nice talking to you. Thank you so much, and all the best for ACEI. And Deloitte, you also did